So, need a part delivered PDQ? You'll find it in advance. By Heilig Myers, we furnish America with value. By Delta Airlines, you'll love the way we fly. By the University Bookstore, your on-campus bookstore. By HQ, for fix-it-yourself home projects, it's HQ to the rescue. And by Kroger, if it's always good and always fresh, it's always Kroger.
Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to our season's first look inside Tech football. I'm Bill Roth from our Tech studios here in Blacksburg, and coming up over the next half hour, highlights of the Hokies' season-opening victory yesterday at Lane Stadium over Arkansas State. Also on today's show, a close-up look at the Hokies' new offensive coordinator, Gary Trankel, who came to Tech from the Cleveland Browns. Coach Beamer will be by to discuss some new facilities proposed here at Virginia Tech. He'll be joined by our radio network analyst, Mike Burnup. But first, let's talk about yesterday's season-opening victory as the Hokies opened up 1994 just like you'd like to see, with a victory over Arkansas State at Lane Stadium. Crowd of around 40,000 was on hand, a very enthusiastic group to see the Hokies in Arkansas State. It was a sloppy game early. This was a very typical first game. That's Arkansas State trying to run its offense. Tech's defense was absolutely superb early. Lawrence Lewis, young man out of Kecoughtan, stops Tinley, their fullback. And then when Arkansas State tried to throw this little middle screen, take a look at George Del Rico, stopped the receiver Austin on the play. Tech was superb on its first three possessions, scoring 3 touchdowns. First, an option pitch from DeShazo to Dwayne Thomas, picks up 25 yards. Then on 3rd down and 7, DeShazo finds his favorite receiver, Antonio Freeman. It's a gain of 9 yards, and it gets the Hokies close to pay dirt. First and goal on the 3-yard line. DeShazo running the option left, keeping, tries to dive to the pylon. He reaches his arm across. It is a Tech touchdown. Watch very closely on the replay. You'll see DeShazo brilliantly reaches his arm across the goal line, and it is a touchdown. 7-0 Tech leading. Here's a busted play. The Hokies all over the Arkansas State team. Their quarterback, Johnny Covington, is sacked. More good pressure put on by the Tech team, and the Hokies would get the ball back after this. And ball is on the left hash mark. Ark stayed to the 4-3 defense. First down, DeShazo back to throw. Pump fake short, now lets it fly long. Holmes is down there, and he has it at the Arkansas State 30, and he's down to the 24. Watkins was the defender on the play, but Jermaine Holmes out of Pinellas Park High School in St. Petersburg, Florida. 50-yard gain on that play. And Dwayne Thomas takes the pitch and puts the Hokies in the scoring zone again. Side, Thomas comes in motion to the right. There's the shotgun snap to DeShazo. Steps up, fires, caught, touchdown Tech.
Another well-executed play. DeShazo from the shotgun formation. He sits Dwayne Thomas in motion. Kind of leaves that middle of the field open for your big tight end, and he came in and made a great catch.
And the Hokies had a 14-0 lead. Arkansas State tried the short passing game, just couldn't get anything going. Watch the pressure here, put on by Cornell Brown, forces a quick pass, incomplete again. Tech got the ball back. First, Tommy Edwards gains 5 yards. Then DeShazo and Freeman hook up again on 2nd down. Now from the 38-yard line, DeShazo, a first down throw. The senior throwing it over the middle. He has his man Freeman at the 40, breaks free, down the right side to the 30, down to the Arkansas State 20, and he steps out of bounds coyly on the 19-yard line. It was a 44-yard gain to Antonio Freeman. Why is DeShazo so good? Watch this option fake. He gets 9 yards after faking the pitch, setting up another score. First and goal to go on the 7-yard line now for the Hokies. And on first down, DeShazo rolling right, looking to throw. Lets it fly. It is caught in the end zone. Touchdown Tech.
Another excellent play, spreading the field out there. The tight end, big Brian Jennings, he just kind of sneaks out there late on a little bit of a delay pattern. Sits down in that open area. DeShazo was on the roll to his right, kind of threw back across the field there. Jennings was wide open on the play. Excellent job.
And it was 21-0 Virginia Tech. But then things didn't go so well in the second quarter. Late because Freeman on this punt return will fumble. This is the only Arkansas State scoring drive of the day. They got the football on the Tech 11-yard line. Their tailback, Zoe Freeman, runs for 4 yards. And then later, the same man, Zoe Freeman of Arkansas State, takes the option pitch, runs into the end zone for the touchdown. That made it 21-7, and Arkansas State was inspired. Tech had good field position. Tommy Edwards couldn't run there. And then even when the Hokies came up with a big play like this miraculous DeShazo scramble and long completion to Cornelius White, there was a penalty marker. This play was called back. Tech would have had the ball inside the 10-yard line. Instead, the Hokies punted him in, and on first down, they did a great job of stopping the fullback Tinsley. But watch what happens on the next play, the biggest gain of the day for Arkansas State, as Tinsley, the fullback, races 57 yards. Hey, it's 21-7 at this point. Arkansas State has some momentum in the second quarter, but Tech's newcomer, junior college man Jim Barron, comes to the rescue here with a sack of the quarterback. Arkansas State tries a long field goal, 52-yarder, but Cornell Brown blocks it. 4 games in a row now, Virginia Tech has blocked a kick. Tech's offense is inspired, and DeShazo, who had a terrific first half, finds Corny White a 21-yard gain. But then the offense, showing that it was the first game of the season, struggled a little bit. Here's a bad snap. DeShazo's in trouble, loses 4 yards, and the Hokies are forced to attempt a late first half field goal. And Ryan Williams' 45-yarder is good. At halftime, Tech up 24-7. Stayed 24-7 at halftime yesterday. Before the second half highlights, this week's features. This past week, our radio network man Mike Burnup and head coach Frank Beamer sat down for the premiere edition of Frankly Speaking.
Coach, why do you feel you need to upgrade your facilities right now?
Well, we've got good facilities here at Virginia Tech. Our problem is that everyone we recruited around us, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, West Virginia, NC State, the people we go against have upgraded their facilities in the last 5 years. And we do need a larger weight room. We need a larger dressing room. We need to do some things that would upgrade our facilities. My plan, Mike, is that if we can put a building down here in the end zone, one of the end zones, and it's under a feasibility study right now, and put sky boxes on the front part looking over into the stadium, that I think we can pay for the building and have a source of revenue for our athletic department for years to come. I think a lot of people, a lot of our fans would like to watch a ball game from a skybox facility and have their friends in there and so forth. So I think we can do a couple things that'd be good for our stadium. Number one, put some skyboxes in it, and number two, pay for the facilities that we need to upgrade right now.
Now, would you move your offices there too? What all would be in that building?
Well, again, it's we're doing a feasibility study right now, and there's a possibility we could keep our offices and meeting rooms here and put our dressing room and equipment room and weight room, all-purpose room in this area, or we may take a whole facility to this building. That's part of the feasibility study.
Superbox is something that a lot of you Tech fans would like to see, and that may happen at Virginia Tech in the very near future. Meanwhile, while the Hokies think about building that, they're building one of the nation's best offenses, and this year a new man is leading that charge. New offensive coordinator Gary Tranquill, the subject of this week's feature, Tech Up Close. The Hokies scored a school record 400 points last season, and with so much of the offense returning, more records could be set this fall. Tech's offense will be guided by new coordinator Gary Tranquill, the former Navy head coach who was also an assistant at West Virginia and Virginia. Tranquill spent the past 3 seasons in the NFL as the Cleveland Browns quarterback coach, but doesn't see any trouble adjusting back to the college game.
Coaching is coaching. I think sometimes that people say, well, you know, at the NFL level, the players are this, that, and the other thing, and most of them are. They've probably gone physically as far as they can, technique-wise, maybe not quite as far as they could, but keep in mind one thing, even though they're making a lot of money, most of those guys still have those competitive fires burning, and you know, when they're out there practicing or playing, they aren't thinking about how much money they're making, and they want to be better. They'll do what you want them to do to get better. So that part of it I don't think is any different from coaching at the college level or high school level.
So how will the Hokies offense be different this fall? Well, Tech will run a lot of the same plays it ran last year, except this year run them out of different formations.
Probably the biggest difference between this offense and last year's offense, there will be probably more times in a football game where we'll be in a one-back set. Last year, their third down offense was basically 4 wide receivers and 1 back. We may be in something like that on first down.
Tranquil promises a more wide-open offense than even last year's Tech attack. That should be something exciting to watch this fall. A 24-7 lead over Arkansas State at halftime yesterday. You know, coming into this game, the Hokies were big-time favorites. After all, Tech is ranked 19th in the nation by the CNN USA Today Coaches Poll and 21st by the AP, and Arkansas State's coming off back-to-back seasons in which they've won a total of only 4 games. But at halftime, Tech was in control, although the game was a little bit sloppy. As we went to the third quarter, we saw the Hokies' depth at receiver. You know, Tech has 6 guys, counting both the split end and flanker spots that can play, and including Jermaine Holmes, who had this 21-yarder. Excellent receiver, had a big day for the Hokies. But in the third quarter, Tech really had a hard time running the football. Something that was unusual, and they'll have to work on this week in preparation for Southern Miss. But while that didn't work, the special teams did. 4th down and 8. Here's the snap to Colley. Hokies had a spread formation there. Colley hits it high into the air. Hokies will try to down it inside the 10. Bounces at the 10, rolls to the 5. Tech lets it roll. It's going down to the 2, to the 1, and it is down inside the 1-yard line by Cornelius White. Heck of a special teams play. Colley did that twice on the day the Tech punter out of Tazewell. And the Hokies nearly got a safety because of that. After Tinsley is smothered, look at that, almost a safety. Tech really did a great job in the third quarter of controlling the field position. It was 3rd down now from the 2-yard line, and on 3rd down, look at this, a quick kick. When's the last time you saw that? With the left foot. It was actually better than a punt. Look where this ball goes, all the way back inside the Tech 40-yard line. When the Hokies got the ball back, they tried to run the football, and again, they just didn't have a whole lot of success running it. Edmonds got 2 yards here. And in a way that frustrated the Hokies offense. DeShazo again showed his great scrambling ability here, but actually throws this football up for grabs, and it's going to pinball around, intended for Freeman, actually intercepted by Watkins. But the field position really was a problem that Arkansas State couldn't overcome. Waverly Jackson here stops Tinsley and forces another Arkansas State University punt. And this time the Hokies really make them pay. Watch Antonio Freeman on the punt return here. Brings the ball deeper into Arkansas State territory. Unable to run it, Tech out of the shotgun with 1 back, throws it. Here's a 13-yard pickup to Dwayne Thomas out of Fort Myers, Florida. As we near the end of the third quarter, Tommy Edwards would pick up 5 yards. Getting Tech close, but it took Tech 4 chances to score from inside the 5. 4th and goal from the 1-yard line. A long count to DeShazo, the snap. Hands it off to Edwards. Over the top. Touchdown, Tech.
I think you got to develop an attitude. I think right now this football team has got to develop an attitude down there, and when it gets down the goal line, that ball is going to go in, and we're going to get started on that attitude right there. Tommy got the ball, and looked like we had pretty good blocking up front, and then he went up and over for the touchdown. But you know, we're not going to back off from that situation. I can tell you that. Yeah.
And the Hokies led it 34-7, and then more good defense. Jim Barron with the sack. What a newcomer he is going to be this year. Here he is on the next play. He and Lawrence Lewis knocked down the quarterback, forcing an ASU punt. 31-7. 13 minutes left in the game. Here's the snap. It's a good one, and another fine kick by the busy Arkansas State punter. Freeman goes back to return to the 35. Right to the 40, has a seam to the 50. Turns on the jets to the 40, and he's knocked down on the 34-yard line. It was a 33-yard return. Jim Druckenmiller into the game at quarterback. Tosses to Tommy Edwards, and then a really spectacular catch. This is the first catch ever for Sean Scales in his career. Watch this, laying out to haul it in. That sets up a 33-yard field goal attempt for Ryan Williams, the Virginia Tech place kicker. And he drills it through, adding 3 more points on the board for Virginia Tech. Why can't you run the option against Tech? Watch Cornell Brown. Knocks the quarterback Covington down. Then another Arkansas State punt. The Hokies forced 11 punts yesterday here in Blacksburg, and Brian Still showed why he could be a great return man. This ends up being a 45-yard return out of Huguenot High School in Richmond. Look at Brian Still take off. And then the first chance for some new players to get on the field. Here's another look at Still's return. Last year, the Hokies recruited Kenny Oxendine out of Chester, Virginia. Thomas Dale High School. Here is his first ever Tech carry. Watch the explosive move there. An 8-yard gain. First carry for Oxendine. But in the second half, the story was the Tech defense. Watch Jim Barron, another sack. He had 3 on the day, number 92. And the Hokies defense allowed only 1 first down in the second half. And Tech rolls 34-7 in its season opener. The season with a 34-7 victory over Arkansas State. Tech is 1-0 next week at Southern Miss. Following the game, we sent our Tech Network cameras down inside the Tech locker room to talk with the players, some of the guys that made the big plays on offense, and some of the guys that had a terrific day on the defensive side of the ball. Let's take a look.
The penalties, we're just going to have to go back this week and try to work on minimizing the penalties, because when you get into a tight game and those penalties, they mean a lot, and they can set you back and ruin your game plan. So we're just going to have to go back to the drawing boards and just work to minimize our penalties.
Well, like, first of all, like, anytime you have a guy like Antonio Freeman on your team, it's going to open it up for the rest of the guys, which I think we have a nice set group of receivers here. And, you know, from watching Freeman, you know, I've developed, you know, certain ways to run patterns and certain ways to block people and reading defenses. He's really helped me out a lot with that.
I think we had just driven down and we were so close, and we were moving the ball consistently, and we just really wanted to go for it. We knew we could get that 1 yard if we needed to. You know, we're all really pumped up and just knew we could get it. There was no question.
Well, you know, we're going to do nothing but get better, you know. And, you know, we're looking forward to next week and the week after, and myself, you know. And we're all young, you know, so we'll all be back more than likely. And it feels really good, you know, the way we get after it and get after people, you know. It feels good.
Jim Barron, certainly a nice addition to the Tech defense, which was really the key to yesterday's season opening victory. Also after the game, our Radio Network man Mike Burnup and Coach Beamer sat down to talk about what they saw on the field at Lane Stadium. Here's Mike and Coach Beamer.
Yeah, I think we need to, I know we need to do a real good evaluation. You know, we've been a pretty good running football team. We wasn't a real good running football team today, and that's an area for concern right there. But again, I think you're right. I think you give Arkansas State credit, because I thought they were tough guys and they came after us, and but it still gets down to you block them and open up some holes, and then running backs hit the right holes, and here we're off. And I think I think that's going to be an area that we'll learn a lot from. We got some good people up front. We just got to be better up front.
Got to give your defense a lot of credit. They hung tough all day. I think in the second half, they didn't have a first down until real late there in the fourth quarter, and seemed like they got after it pretty good today.
Oh, I thought so. The one play popped on us back when we had them backed up in the second quarter. And then, of course, we fumbled the ball, and they got the ball down there deep, and were able to score on the third down play on low-speed option. But, yeah, I think you take about 3 plays out of there, and our defense is pretty impressive. I know there's some guys flying around, look like they're getting to the football pretty well.
Usually early in the season, the defense is ahead of the offense, but the Hokies open up their season with a 34-7 win over Arkansas State. Let's see what else happened around the Big East Football Conference yesterday afternoon and last night. Miami continues winning at home, 58 in a row. They whitewashed Georgia Southern. There's the Hokies score. They knock off Arkansas State. BC gave Michigan a battle. West Virginia kicked a late field goal and beat Ball State 16-14. Great game at the Dome. Oklahoma, a late field goal, beats the Orange by 1. Rutgers opened its new stadium with a 28-6 win over Kent. Pitt nearly upset Texas, and Temple won its opener again on the road, 32-7. Speaking of winning on the road, if the Hokies are going to have a good season, they're going to have to win away from Lane Stadium, Worsham Field. The next 2 ball games are on the road, starting this coming Saturday against Southern Mississippi. The Golden Eagles opened their season last night with a victory at Tulane. Let's take a look at some of the highlights of the Golden Eagles. This is from last season. They've got their quarterback coming back. You know, his name is Kevin Bentley. There he is, number 17. They've always been a very difficult team, especially for the Hokies. Here they are in action last year against Alabama. They play a very tough schedule. Usually don't play very many home games, but they'll be tough for the Hokies next week. Down in Hattiesburg, no TV, but our radio coverage on our Tech Network will begin at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. 1-0 Virginia Tech versus 1-0 Southern Mississippi. Coming up tomorrow night, our Tech Radio Network will present the Hokie Hotline with Coach Beamer, your chance to talk directly to the Hokies head coach. That does it for this week's show. We hope you'll tune in again next Sunday for another edition of Inside Tech Football.
This has been Inside Tech Football, brought to you by Advance Auto. Need a part delivered, PDQ? You'll find it in Advance. By Heilig Myers, we furnish America with value. By Delta Airlines, you'll love the way we fly. By the University Bookstore, your on-campus bookstore. By HQ, for fix-it-yourself home projects, it's HQ to the rescue. And by Kroger, if it's always good and always fresh, it's always Kroger.